Hey everybody, it's Kevin. Thanks so much for tuning in. 1 minute late, I'm sorry. Um, since I decided to um, put the cards in a photo form and upload them to this platform, takes a bit longer, but that's all right. I'm learning as I go, and I'm liking the learning. Great message here for you today. I did my little shuffle. Oddly enough, sometimes when there's not really much clarity in the shuffling, and I think you'll find this when you go about your daily tasks. And as we move into this new age, I call it a new age because I think that's what it is. Um, we're going to be learning, I feel, how to fine tune what we do. I think we're entering an age where our gifts, those that we have physically and those that we have spiritually, are going to come to light. I think that the material world, the tech world, the world that we have come to trust in will still be the same, but it seems to be we've gone quite as far as we can with science, technology, medicine, etc., but we're not anywhere close to being as far as we can go with culture, with humanity, with our compassion skills, our other dimensional skills, if you will. And I think that's part of what this new age, part of what this new world will be offering everyone. Is not a so much a faster way to communicate, a clearer way to communicate, where perceptions, ideals, and ideas will become clearer, but in a more refined way. And I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I'm going to have to meditate a little bit more on what I'm talking about because it started popping up in the last week, like these little whispers, these little, I don't know what you want to call it, spiritually fine tuning, if you will. And that's what I'm offering up to everybody else. So I think we're all becoming a little more in tune with I would say, have to say, intuition. That's the fine tuning. That's the piece of the puzzle, because there's a larger group of folks who are seeking a better way to communicate with each other, such as this, the meditations every day. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, maybe not quite that long ago, yoga, the physical act of yoga, became this sort of fashionable thing to do. Everybody was doing it. People were becoming toned and looking good and feeling amazing. And as a teacher of yoga, I noticed how people were after they practiced. This radiance, this lightness, this joy, this feeling of, wow, they've transformed. What I also noticed was how quickly the reverting took place. They reverted back to how they showed up. And it wasn't very long. So for me, what can get in the way of elongating and extending that feeling of mass transformation? So here are the cards that came up for this morning. Let's have a look. There we go. The Spiral Dancer popped out. Oddly enough, two of them popped out, but this Spiral Dancer was the one that pushed up to me. The other one that popped out that I put back in was the Metal King. Metal King talks about the boundaries that we set for ourselves, or boundaries being crossed, and it didn't really fit with this Spiral Dancer, which is really a pathway upward. And then opportunity and change came from the angel message that goes with it. Um, uh, Opportunity and change says that it's already here, and I personally believe, and it's really up to you whether or not you believe it too, but I do personally believe that there is a guardian angel, if you will, or a spirit guide, if you want to call it that. Everybody sees what they believe the spirit world to be different. Um, and whatever you see clearly defined is your vision for you. I want to be clear about the fact that there's no right and there's no wrong. There's difference, just the same as everybody's eye color is different, their nose shape is different, their belief system is different. Difference, okay. One of my other messages, I talked about everybody being a thread, and it's necessary to have all kinds of threads to make a fabric strong, indelible, to work together. And that's what this is really talking about. The whole message today would be, we're going into a new age, we're going into a new way of communicating with each other, and that includes embracing everyone's differences and also celebrating the fact that difference is a good thing. We can use everyone's strengths to better everybody together instead of battling against who's stronger. That doesn't matter. The fact that everyone has a strength, but collectively it creates a force field. That's pretty what I want to say. There's another little message I found that I love. It's a little quote I got. It kind of goes with this. I was going to put it in as a text, but it's a little bit of poetry, and it goes a bit like this. Let your pain become your purpose. Let your mess become your message. And let your wounds become words of wisdom. And I was on a, oddly enough, an ECAM support group, one of these video groups in Facebook, where we were doing, I think it was in August, going live every day in August. And one of the young ladies on there came out one day. Let your pain become your purpose, let your mess become your message, and let your wounds become the words of wisdom. It was profound. And that's what we're finding. We're finding right now as we dance along this this road, this new road of being, this new road of living, this new way of communicating with each other. These are the things that we'll grab a hold of. So whenever you find yourself, speaking of these two cards, whenever you find yourself wondering if you're on the right path, if you're doing the right thing, especially now where everything seems to be stuck and we're going in circles, no one seems to have an answer. Everybody's making these promises. If you find yourself sort of doing that, a little bit of a around the ice rink, just keep spiraling, circling. Think of it as your own personal dance floor. You can change the rhythm if you want. You can change the pattern if you want. But keep the momentum happening. Keep that coming, because opportunity and change happens in its own time, its own way. And if you start to look for, oh, I'm looking to do these things, think of it like every artist sits in front of a blank canvas, pop it on the easel, and if they're an oil painting or painter, oil artist, they've got several different tubes of paint, and they squirt it out on a palette and they start to mix. And then as they're mixing comes this way of, oh, I've got to express myself on this piece of canvas. And whether they are doing something in still life, a portrait, a scene, or literally going with the energy they have inside, something begins to emerge from the person, from the source, from the creativity onto the canvas. The piece that I'm getting to this morning with this message is to tell you, use that essence of creativity that you have that's underneath. The thing that you're blocking it with, the mask, the window, the shade that's getting in its way, is your perception that something that you're doing isn't right. You know when something isn't right because you get this gut feeling that churns. And typically, oddly, nervousness, that fear, that excitement, and this is not meant to be gross, but the fear and the excitement of something that's coming engages the muscles in your root chakra, which is right where your genitals and all of that are, to stimulate your bladder because you want to pee. That's the feeling of, oh, I'm so excited, I got to pee myself. That's the excitement. That's the physical feeling of, oh, this is something we're going to go towards now. Something that's not quite right, that feels off and feels odd, your physical immediate response is either nausea, you want to, or defecation, you've got to poop. That's those physical feelings when something's not quite right. Take it even further and get it out of the gutter for a bit. Look at what that is saying. You've got to get past where you are. You've got to lift the mask up to see the big reveal. Fear only becomes fear until you face it. And then it's no longer going to bother you. Then it's no longer going to consume you. It's no longer going to get in your face. But perception is linked to that. We can get caught up in what's going to happen if. I don't want it to look like such and such. These, when you say these things and you put these things, you're almost, I learned this from my friend Maggie, blocking your blessings. Gets in the way. So keep going on your little pattern. Start with your canvas. If you feel lost and you're not sure which way to go, get a feeling of it. Meditate, get soft. Start to put in your palette, the items that you need, whether it's, I'm going to open up my own business, I'm going to buy a property, I'm going to, whatever that is, on your purpose, start marinating it. Start adding a little of this, a little of that. Do it as if it were a little experiment. What you'll find, as long as you keep sight of the intention and the goal and what's out ahead of you, how that looks, what that looks like, as long as you keep sight of that, the feeling of it, the essence of it, somewhat purpose of it, if it's to help other people, if it's to meander through this new way of educating, I don't know what that looks like, because none of us really do. You'll know as you begin to meander forward what more things you bring in and what you don't. But here's the other part, the opportunity and change, this card right here, is an indication that those things that we're looking to do, when it's clear, and when you have those moments of, oh, I've just got clarity, I'm going to do this, I just heard something, I'm going to take off and do it. That's when you know you've got this power that says opportunity and change is here, ding, 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 take it. You'll find that from nowhere, or seems to be from nowhere, people, places, opportunities will show up. And you will sit and say, gosh, I was just thinking about that yesterday. Oh, hang on. This is what I was looking for. Those are the markers that tell you the new way of us communicating is that. We're digging more into the intuitive forces that are part of that 5th or 5th dimension. I know at one time I was thinking about this and looking down that road and thinking, I think some of these people have just been eating a bit too much of the odd candy because it didn't quite work right. And I am one who's a tiny bit skeptical. I mean, I think it's good to be skeptical. Now I'm more curious. My skepticism is something that I sit back with and look at. What I do know is the things that I resisted persisted until I turned around and followed what that was about. If you find things to be immediately reactive, just sit in the reaction a little bit and ask what you believe you're reacting to. And there's just two things. One is fear. Oh, that might not turn out so well. Look at the fear. Will it turn out so well? Is this the truth, or is this something that somebody told you and you believed? That's one thing, because that's like false prophecy. That's the first looking at it. The other thing is, if you find it, a judgment pops up. What's a judgment? Automatic, quick response. You're discarding it. You're turning it off. You're having a reaction to it. If that's your reality, then think of whether this is something within you that you need to clear up, because that's been my experience. Ooh, I'm doing this myself. I should line myself up with that. Or am I a little jealous? Am I a little bit envious of what this person's doing and I wanted to do it first? There's nothing wrong with that. That's the ego. That is the ego. So we have two sides of ourselves. You know, in any personal growth training, they talk about whether it's two lions, two wolves, two bears. There are two sides of ourselves. There's this nice, quiet, polite person that's all spiritual. Then there's this person that's a bit the naughty twin, the one that's, you know, really going to push the line, smudge it a little bit, cause trouble, be a bit, I don't know, naughty. There's in all of us. That's why we have this choice, right? We come into a world and you can choose. You can go down the not so good or you can go down the good. There's the choice. You're always on a path, you're always on a journey, and you have this power to choose. And I think that's part of the reason why we come into a physical form. Because at some point we have to use our physicality, use this machine called a body, a brain, a mind, and eyes, legs, all this connection with other people. We have to use that to move things forward, to move, whether it's a planet, whether it's people. I don't know what that is. I don't know that we just came here to do a job and then leave the world again. We came here to actually lift it forward. Feel like I'm getting off topic. Don't mean to, but let's get rid of this for a quick. There you go. Nope, that there. That's it. There we go. So I'll leave you with that while we meditate. I think this morning for this meditation, I'm going to do a visualization for you to somewhat start a bit of channeling. The odd thing about channeling is we all do it. Everyone does it. You do it when you don't really realize you're doing it. It's very simple. It's not complicated. And we're going to do it right now. It's all linked to meditation and visualization and trusting that what you're getting and what you're bringing is right. So, feet flat on the floor, eyes closed, take a big breath in. On your exhale, release and let go. Another big breath in. Release and let go. And on this third breath in, fill up and feel the air go right down into the bottom of your bottom. Fill it all the way up. And hold it when you get to the top of the inhale, hold it. Let go. Let your thoughts, your mind, come to stillness. Your palms facing the ceiling. Energetically, with your consciousness, create the feeling in the space, the general mindset, vibrational energy of all things that are blessed, grateful, what you believe to be sacred, divine, respectful, good, honorable, with integrity, a general feeling, state of being that is the essence of wanting the highest good of everything and everybody. It is one thing to request the help of the spirit world and your guardian angels and the higher essence of you to come, embrace, and give thanks for their presence and reminding you that they're always with you. That's one thing. The necessary piece of it is to feel the vibration that accompanies it. This for me is known as the presence of the divine. The energy that runs through you, that's always run through you. It's always what you've been about. It's always who you are. This feeling, this lifted vibration is necessary for your personal growth and expansion. Feel, be, and know that your feet are connected deep into the core of the Mother Earth. And your crown, the very top part of your head, is open and connected to the Fathers of Heaven. You, your physical body, are the bridge between the two. The groundedness of the earth and the wisdom of the heavens. You are the vessel. You are the container. You are the divine source. Be with the feeling that each breath you take in is part of the new wisdom source energy that is replenishing you, restoring you, lifting you, enlightening you. Know that every exhale is the energy that has been used up and needs to return to be transformed into new energy. Being the vessel and the bridge of this energy is to know in the spirit world everything is recycled. With the feeling and understanding that you are a vessel of light and your eternal flame is always ignited. Your mind, your consciousness to your solar plexus, that area right at the bottom of your rib cage, right above your navel. As you breathe in, extend and expand this eternal flame upward, outward, downward, move your consciousness up along this light, along this energy trail, extend it past your crown. Begin to see your consciousness and practice viewing your physical self, your body, as if you were perched above your physical body, looking down. Practice seeing the crown of your head, looking down at your shoulders, as if you were the lens of a camera. See what you see, be with the energy of what you experience. Now bring your consciousness back to your physical body with your eyes closed, and the knowing and the feeling of that eternal flame working in you, shining outward. With your consciousness on your third eye center, the area right between your eyebrows. You want to ask, and give thanks that your guardian angel reveal themselves to you. If it's a challenge for you to see clearly an image, go with what you feel. If you can't tell whether your guardian angel is with you, trust in the wisdom and the knowledge that they have never left you. Be with the knowledge and understanding that you are open to listen and receive. So be it, and so shall it be. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Keep the essence of your vibration lifted. Keep that feeling of the eternal flame within you, shining outward. And keep the grace and gratitude for your guardian angel being present, guiding you forward, being open to listen and receive. Lift your thumb knuckles up between your third eye center, and together we bow and say Namaste. I could do another class on channeling, but I think all I'll say on that really is, when I tell folks you do it all the time without realizing you're doing it, here's an example of what channeling really is. It's being physically in one place and using your other senses to be somewhere else. We have the capacity to do it. When you randomly, automatically bring somebody into mind, it's typically someone you know, family member, friend, someone that's in your circle of influence. The first knowledge that channeling is available to you and is open to you happens when you think of that person and you get an idea, a message, I don't know, something comes regarding them. Something specific than just them coming to mind. You take it a little step further and get quiet. When you're in your car, when you're in the store, you start to learn to push away the physical distractions of other people. You stay in this place of grace. You start to listen to an idea or a vibration or a thing that begins to speak, that you don't necessarily realize that's what you're doing, because it's something we have. It's something we always do. We've done it forever. That really is channeling energy. Another example of channeling energy is being in a room tasked with a project, and there's other folks in the room with you tasked with the same project. You've got really no clue, you've got a deadline to meet, and you're not sure how you're going to reach it. I'm sure you've had those experiences where ideas begin to pop. People begin to start collaborating together. All of a sudden, you have a plan. Now, typically I call them conductor leaders. A conductor leader is conducting everyone doing their thing, but that's all part of the plan. You're all working together. That's channeling. It's a group of people. Now, if you can expand your consciousness a bit further, there's an energy behind all of those folks. There's an energy working together to pull all this in. I think a more accurate analogy would be a person sees a building before it's built in their head, and they draw it. Then they go to an architect to design it. And the architect is empowered to go to an engineer who puts the engineering plans to it. Then they all trot off to someone else who's going to build it, and planning. All of these things started off with an idea. Started off with this concept. The channeling occurs when people open their consciousness up and listen to receive the information that needs to happen next. When you look at the person who conceived the project to begin with, whatever they saw, the house, the building, the car, whatever they saw, whatever their vision was, if you said to them, well, that's not really possible, people have, well, you're nuts thinking of something that's going to be built. And people have said that too. There's a driving force that makes that happen. It's the same thing as when folks say, I'm going to channel the energy of whatever. They just literally are getting quiet. They're pushing off all of the physical distractions using what I call an eternal flame. Because I've learned about this eternal flame a long time ago. What is that? It's the light that lives within us. It's a light that keeps going. In the early 90s, I learned to channel by using yogic breath. A deep inhale, exhale, in through your nose, out through your mouth, and doing it rapidly. Did it through rebirthing sessions. Then I did it when I was learning to channel. And then I learned, oh, this is Ujjayi breath from yoga. And I was like, okay, so this is the same thing with different labels on it. Then like everyone's doing this. The art of knowing that there's a power greater than you is knowing that that power is with you. Once you get this consciousness that there is an energy greater than what you thought there was, when you wake up to it, it's called consciousness of being awake, or whatever that one, enlightening, whatever that is. When you get to that point where you're realizing this, they've already been there with you, saying, yes, here we are. And you'll begin to get evidence of it. You'll begin to hear, well, I think you've been talking to me. That message seems to be just for me. Yeah, it was. Here's the other part. Those of us that open ourselves to say, okay, we'll do this, here we are. There's a journey. Just like there is in school. You have to go through kindergarten in this country, preschool, all these things. You graduate these classes and you move on and move on. You keep going around the different teachers. Eventually you will outgrow the teacher that taught you initially how to get started and move on to the next teacher who's going to take you to the next step. All these skills, all these things are all within you, that you're all capable of it. And that's when I say we're entering a new world. We're entering a new way of being, a new way of communicating, and a new way of doing our thing. Just bring the tools you've always had and use them. All right, that's my message for today. Keep dancing. Know that there's opportunity for change is coming, and don't give up on your hopes and your dreams. Bye.